you very much. Greetings and welcome to our program again, our Amba history. And today in our program, we're having Barrister Fru, who will be dishing out to us a number of things concerning our history. But before we go, I have this very important announcement to make. On the 16th, that is after tomorrow, the women's department shall be having a wonderful Christmas package for all our refugees that are undergoing a lot of things right now. But before then, I want to bring Barrister Fru to say hello to the people of Ambazonia. Hello, Barrister, are you there?
Yes, Pastor Commando, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all Ambazonians around the world. Thank you very much for watching us. I want to wish you and your families a happy Christmas in advance. And we're here to continue in the usual way to discuss with all of us on our history so that we know that everybody, both in the home front and everywhere around the world, knows or can discuss our history freely. We don't pretend to know everything, but we will be discussing so that if you have if you think that what we're saying is not correct, just send us a message and we will correct it. Thank you very much, Pastor Commando, for inviting me this morning.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for accepting this invite to come in here so we can talk a little more about our history, knowing fully well that history is the bedrock of where we are standing to make sure that our people understand where we are coming from. And I will not take you very far back. I'll just cross over to the exercise that just took place on the 7th of December 2023. Now, before any other thing, I would like to ask you, Barrister, for the past 5 years, we have been dancing on interim. What can you tell us actually happened that we remained on interim until a few days ago passed, when we now got back to the restored 1st of October 2017 government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia? I know I didn't discuss this with you, but I know you already have the answers, and I see the way you're smiling. You will tell the Ambazonian people what is actually going on. Over to you.
Thank you, Paddy. Since La République Cameroon finally left the Union in 1984 by going back to their country and believing that they have totally assimilated us, we took judicial notice that they have left the Union, the so-called Union, the de facto Union that never was. Our former president, on the 1st of October 2017, proclaimed the restoration of the independence of the Southern Cameroons, along with its institutions. But when they got to Zaria in Nigeria, where they were in exile, for some reason they moved from governing council to interim government instead of moving to the government that was restored. But we cannot blame them because I think the consensus was that we do something temporary while waiting to see how we progress. And I adore my heart to everybody who was there at that time. They are the pioneers of this government. And since then, since the arrest and detention, the arrest and kidnapping of our leaders from Nigeria and sent to Cameroon to be slaughtered, the acting vice president, the vice president then became the acting president of the interim government, while waiting for the president, the real president Ayuk Tabe, to come out of prison and take over as he was. But hey, we know what happened. Ayuk Tabe betrayed the cause. I was a lead counsel then. I found out very, very late in the morning, 5 a.m., when I got up to go to the bathroom. I came back and saw my social media, and I saw that Ayuk Tabe had purportedly dissolved the government from prison. And that was the beginning of our troubles. Well, the interim president, the interim vice president sitting in for the interim president went on with the struggle, developed a defensive posture in 2018 when La République du Cameroun declared war on us. In 2017, November 30th, in 2018, our present president now launched the defense of the territorial integrity of the southern Cameroons. And we started fighting a war up to today that we are still fighting. But since then, the government has improved, has seated up to 2021 when the coup plotters did what they did and set us back from the program. And since we survived that coup and put things together and continue the fight, we thought that we were mature enough. The president thought that we were mature enough to do the proposal that he did to the stakeholders, as it was then in Nigeria. The stakeholders were reconvened to a conference to correct the errors that were done by our forebearers in Nigeria, and to institute the government of John Foncha. Let me be clear. It is not the government of Ngomjoa, because Ngomjoa was the prime minister of West Cameroon. No, we're talking about the government that Foncha was robbed of, the government that was stolen from us in the so-called, after the so-called Fumban, with the complicity of Great Britain. And instead of the Great Britain bringing down the Union Jack to hand to our prime minister, who at that time, who was supposed to immediately become the president since we were no longer under the Queen, the UK came and gave the flag but to Ahidjo with the complicity of the French. And before that, in the night of the 30th of September, the La Republic forces had taken over the capital of the southern Cameroons in Boya. So we're forced into this unholy union. So what has happened was that on the 2nd of December this year, the Constituent Assembly, that the same way that it met in Abuja, in Nigeria, Zaria, was convened in Washington, D.C., in a conference with the proposal tabled by the president so that we go back to the institutions that were restored by the former president on the 1st of October 2017 during the proclamation. That is where we are now. Since the 7th, that the process got completed after the interim House of Assembly, which is now the House of Assembly, no longer any interim. The House of Assembly voted that bill that was debated by the Constituent Assembly. They approved it, and the president promulgated it into law on the 7th of December. That is where we are, Pastor Commando. And I hope everybody understands that when that proclamation was done in Boya on the 1st of October 2017 by President Ayuk Tade,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What is going on? It was not only the proclamation of independence, it was proclamation of independence and the government and the institutions of the Southern Cameroon. And that's what was completed on the 7th of December. Let the world know that the Southern Cameroons now have its government, even though in exile, and that nobody can say that we are a virtual government or we don't know who to talk to. The government of the Southern Cameroons, aka the Federal Republic of Ambazonian government, is now functional, is now in place, and we are waiting. We are waiting. The diplomatic missions will go around and inform the world, and we are waiting for the recognition of our government by foreign governments so that we can now start opening diplomatic missions around the world. We cannot open diplomatic missions around the world until we are recognized by countries. If the first country that recognizes us, we will do a diplomatic mission in that country. Until then, any pretender that goes and takes pictures in a hotel and comes and shows and superimpose on social media and claim that they have put a diplomatic mission somewhere in Washington, D.C. I know Massachusetts Avenue very well. That is where all the diplomatic missions in America are lodged, including the Cameroon diplomatic mission, which is the Cameroon embassy. The Cameroon embassy was virtually thrown out because of non-payment of rent and the way the building was being maintained. But I don't know where they are now, but that was where they are. You cannot go and take a hotel and show us an empty lobby of a hotel and then tell us that that is your diplomatic mission of which government? You are interim government? I don't understand. But that is where we are. We are now the Southern Cameroons, aka the Federal Republic of Ambazonian government, is now in place. And we are calling upon the world to begin the recognition process of that government. We are still in exile because of the war we are fighting. The war is still raging on, but business of governing must go on. Yeah, that includes the war. That includes financing the war. Business of governing must go on.
Thank you. Thank you.
That includes Pastor Commando, you have a technical problem. It's a reflection.
Oh boy. Oh, sorry, Barrister. There was a mix up there. Thank you very much, Barrister, for taking us that far. You have answered a number of questions that were to come after that. You have just gone ahead of us and you have answered the questions. Because you have answered those questions, I would like to tell the Ambazonian people, especially you at home, you were asking a lot of questions. This is a time to call in and then ask your question because Barrister is here. And again, I would like to let you know that Barrister shall be coming back to be with us to answer most of the questions that some of us have. Ambazonia, from the brief history you gave, uh, can you relate the confusion, the strategies, the lies, and the manipulation of La République du Cameroon against this interim government? Can you relate it to exactly what it did in the days of SDF, when SDF came up and was very, very powerful? Can you tell us? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, which government can we follow? Is it there's IG1, there is IG this, there is IG this, and we all know, most of, especially you and I, who were there before La Republic came in, that their method of operation is this one of setting in and causing a lot of confusion by causing chaos. Can you go ahead and tell the Ambazonian people what is going on with the multiplicity of governments that La Republic has come into our house and is creating, so that people can understand? Over to you, sir.
You see, that is La Republic playbook, Pastor Commando. That is their playbook. Atanganji just recently legalized 40 more political parties, bringing the number to about 400 political parties in La Republic, and they call that democracy. No. What they did to us in 2021 was that they set up some people among us to conduct a coup in the name of impeaching our president without any crime. You cannot impeach somebody without having presented the crime that he has committed. That is an old story. They had their first interim. They said they have taken over the interim government, and their president was a certain Marianta, Madam. We laughed, but we stayed on. The interim government was still there, was strong, waxing strong, and from within themselves, they conducted a coup, and they brought in Christophe Bene Anu, who was the architect of the coup, orchestrated by La République du Cameroon, financed by La République du Cameroon, and bankrolled by La République du Cameroon. Let him refuse. We have evidence. They came and threw out Marianta and placed Anu. So among themselves, they have now two the factions. The interim government of Marianta, which they left, and the interim government of Christopher Fobene Anu. The La Republique split them into two and continue to place them in the way that they think that they can destroy this, at that time, the interim government. Every Ambazonian knows this story. You know what Christopher Anu has done. He had declared somewhere that he had declared on social media that Ambazonia is not a country, so we are not entitled to a flag or an anthem. That is on record. He says he's no longer president. He is now a comrade in arms. From comrade in arms, he's an anchorman. He is this and that, and jungling all over the place. But the interim government stayed put. The structures from LGAs to counties to the federal government, and all structures that were still being managed then were in place, and we went through all that process in 2021. when we had put La Republique on its knees for Bene Christopher, for Bene Anu, will go down in history as one who did everything to destroy this government, to destroy the fight on the ground, to permit La Republique to resuscitate and continue to fight us. He is now considered a rebel to the Southern Cameroon's existence. He is now considered a persona non grata in the Southern Cameroon for what he did and his colleagues. They will go down in history as those who tried to stop us from having what he did and his colleagues. What is going on? They will go down in history as those who tried to stop us. Pastor Commando, there is something going on. What is that? What is going on? He will go down as one who led the rebellion with his colleagues, people like Elvis Cometa, people like Marianta, people like I cannot begin to name them. There are many. There are a few of them running around, and that they are interim governments. And La Republique took that playbook and ran with it to the international community. That which interim government are we going to talk to now? They are now three. Saku is pretending that he's one. Marianta is one. Fobene Anu is one. Which one can we talk to? Yeah. They went to Toronto. Toronto 1, Toronto 2, Toronto 3. Nothing came out of it. And the only thing that succeeded was that they destroyed the negotiation process that was supposed to have taken place in Switzerland with La République du Cameroun. La République du Cameroun carefully withdrew from that process. And that's where we are now. But we now have our government. The government is in place, but in exile. We're in place, and everybody now knows where the government is. From the beginning up to now, everybody had known this government. The fight on the ground is managed, financed, and controlled by this government, which was then the interim government. It is now a government. Everything on ground, on the home front, including what our people are going through, including the protection of our people, the protection of our populations, is being managed by this government. So it is now clear. I know them who were pretending to have taken over the interim government. Let them keep their interim government. But we are no longer interim. We are a full government right now. And the beginning of this full government was in Nigeria. It has not changed. That is the long and short of the story, Pastor Commando.
And you know my name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me. You know my name. Abba Father, you know me. You know my name. Abba Father,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister. We all know that the gimmicks and the games of La République du Cameroun for a very, very long time is something that an average Ambazonia of my age does not know. And so we are good at the tricks. Now, thank God that God did protect us and kept us dancing around interim for the past years, so that when the manifestation and the fullness of time is come, he will reveal to us that, look, 2017, October 1st, it was not interim government that was restored as counting the governments of Dr. Jongo Foncha and EMN Indele. It was a full government. It was operational even before the fake thing of independence that came in 1961, where we were told to join La Republique in one way or the other. And of course, we all know that there was no joining. It was just a proposal, and the conditions that were given for us to be with La Republique, get our independence, La Republique did not. They did not. In the language of some of our elderly statesmen, they said it was engagement, or it was Njumba Palava, and God kept that name of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, which actually took off its operation in 1954, and the first president was elected in 1956. And today we are following the same method. And when I was asking a question a few days ago to some learned men, it was like it is an inspiration from God, because there is no book that is written. And while I was talking, Barrister Tim brought out a book which he showed to me, that was written in anticipation. And in that book, there were a number of things that were mentioned there. I'm sure he's going to come back here to talk about that, that were mentioned there, which are being carried out now in exile. And I was like, did you people know that we're going to go into exile? And he was very positive that they didn't know, but believed that God was directing and telling them that one day they will be in exile, because they saw the tricks of La Republique. They saw how adamant they were to discussing these things before we came to this point where we are. Now, Barrister, leaving that aside, now the government has been put in place and appropriate measures have been taken. Do you think that La Republique can find another way? Anyway, they can duplicate it in La Republique Cameroon. Do you think that La Republique can find another way in the diaspora, where our government is in exile, to duplicate the name, the government of the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, to duplicate it, so that he can now say there are so many governments of La Republique of La Federal Republic of Ambazonia? Which one can we talk to? Is there any loophole for them to do that, as they did when they were dancing and hanging around in? Over to you.
Yeah, there is a saying. Yeah, there is a saying, Pastor Commando, that once bitten, twice shy.
Barrister, is as if, okay, good.
Institute this government in place. We also took all the legal measures to protect the government.
I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Yeah. Papa, you know my name, oh. Hey. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Mm. You know my name, oh Daddy. Yeah. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Yeah.
Sorry, Barrister.
You repeat that question. Repeat that question.
Disappointed us when you were talking. So I don't know if you can remember where you were talking. So you can go
Well,
ahead from there and then
repeat the question
continue
so that I start it.
you were saying. Can you hear
Repeat
me?
the question repeat the question from the beginning so that
Over to you, Barrister.
yes, I was saying that we did not only restore this government in place, we took all legal measures to protect the government. It was patented, copyrighted, and all the emblem is now under the copyright laws of the United States, and on all on and the government structures and the government website is protected under the copyright laws of the United States, and nobody can do what they did in 2021 and go without being arrested. So I am by this sending out a warning to all the blacklegs and all the coup plotters that you can no longer do what you did in 2021. Keep your interim government, because that's what you did and took and ran with it with your partners like Republic of Cameroon. You cannot do this again in the United States of America where we are exiled. Now, if you want to do something, like say you want to call yourself a government, you can go to one backstreet country and do what you think you want to do. But let me also warn you that diplomatically, all the diplomatic missions around the world have been informed about the existence of this government. So don't be surprised that you do that in another country and you cannot be authenticated, you'll be arrested. So to answer your question, Pastor Commando, no such thing can take place again. Let them attempt, let's see. Our legal team and the lawyers with whom we work with in the United States are ready to launch to go after anybody who attempts. And of course, the law enforcement agencies in the United States will be informed to pick you up and you answer to the crime of infringing on the copyrights of a legitimate, legalized government in the United States of America.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you, Barrister. We all know that, like you have said, once bitten, twice shy. And we have been bitten once. And the protective and the protections of our name is now a very plausible thing. Now, I know that when something is patent, it's not only patent. If there is a duplicate in another country for that same patent issue, internationally, the people can be sued, even though they are not doing it in that country. And we know that La Republique is, I don't know, they don't only break their own laws and their rules that they make, they also try to cross over and destroy and with impunity any law that is made in any country. Now, what are we doing in the face of all this to make sure that La République du Cameroon does not, their game has planned for duplication, has been discovered? Is there anything the interim government is doing? Okay, no, let me not ask that question. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Now, the interim government has now settled down. And as it is settling down to let the people know that the instruments that were used to run the federal government of the Southern Cameroons in the days of Dr. Indele, Dr. Ngumjua, Dr. Indele and Dr. Jongo Foncha, were put in place by them at that time. We know that Gumjoa came in when La Republique had already started playing the hanky-panky, and they changed the Southern Cameroons to West Cameroon to make it look like it was fully an integral part of them. Now, what will you tell the Ambazonians concerning the difference between West Cameroon and Southern Cameroons, as it was known at the United Nations and as it was known by the British, who are now pretentiously sitting quiet and silent as if they don't know what is going on? I remember that there was a time the present King of England, Charles, visited Bamenda. Can you tell us a little bit about that? If you have some information, I know you have some information. So can you go ahead and tell us about that? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, well, let me, before I say anything, let me do a little bit of correction here. The government has settled down as the government of the Southern Cameroons and or the government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia or the government of Ambazonia. Those are the three that have been registered, copyrighted, and protected under the laws of the United States copyright. So don't use the word interim government again, Pastor Commando. Number two, you asked me the difference between the West Cameroon and the Southern Cameroon, and as it then was. Let me tell you, after the assimilation of the Southern Cameroons, they came and they rammed into our throats the constitution, the federal constitution of La République du Cameroun, or the federal constitution of Cameroon. And then when they abolished it in 1972, they created two states, two federated states, one called East Cameroon, and we were called West Cameroon. And when it was dissolved in 1972, those two were resolved, and they totally assimilated everybody, called the United Republic of Cameroon. At that time of West Cameroon, it was Ngomjoa who was prime minister. And the worst thing is that Ahijo arrogated to himself to be appointing the prime ministers of the federated states, when in fact in the Southern Cameroons, the prime minister was never appointed. He was elected by parliament after his party won the highest number of seats in the House of Assembly in Boya. The parliamentarians in the House of Assembly voted the prime minister, who came from the governing party, which was then KNDP. What we have installed was the last KNDP government led by Foncha. We restored that plus its institutions. And that is what we have restored, and that's what was happened here on the 7th of December 2023. So there is no way that La Republic can come here and try to do whatever. We will arrest and prosecute anybody who attempts. That is what I have just been saying, Pastor Commando. Because you cannot break into somebody's copyright and get free and go free. It's a criminal offense. So this government is now protected under the laws, copyright laws of the United States. And there's nobody who can come and carry that name and impersonate as a government in the place of this government, like La Republic did.
Okay, Barrister, thank you. Thank you, Barrister. You are still talking? Okay, Barrister, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. I If I did mention anything about interim, is a past thing. There is no interim. We have long gone past that nonsense called interim. Oh, barrister, you are still talking. I have a little problem here.
What is going on? Have you been frozen again?
Okay, barrister, thank you so much. I had a little problem here with the audio sound, and that's why I'm doing it the way we are doing it now. Okay. Now, what as I was trying to explain, if I did mention anything about interim, is not in our portion. We had gone past that long ago. We are a government, and that one is stuck right inside there in my brain, that we have gone back to establish and to run the governments of Dr. E.M.N. Indele and Dr. John Foncha. Now, subsequent governments that came up were a fallacy, and we could not take that into serious consideration. And the former British Southern Cameroon, which is now the Federal Republic of Southern Cameroon's Federal Republic of Ambazonia, is a protected and well articulated name for the people of Ambazonia to know that they are no longer temporal, they are now very much on equal status and on the same table with any other country that wants to have anything to do with us. The only thing that is remaining right now is for them, the United Nations, as they call them, to come out and say, okay, you come in now and join us. We know that Dr. Jongo Foncha, before his death, he had been struggling. I remember, if my history is not failing me, it was in 1995 that he last appeared at the United Nations to make a protest of what was going on. And of course, he was not given the audience. And so we, this generation today, we're coming to say that we will not sit down and fold our hands. We must go ahead with the independence that was given to us in 1961, going by the plebiscite, or what they called it, on the 21st of April, where 64 countries voted for us to have our independence before a clause was brought in that is causing this confusion. Barrister, I see you shaking your head. Am I saying something off the line? Anyway, let me come.
From here. It is actually the United Nations General Assembly of the 21st of April 1961 in its resolution 1608 that granted us independence, and by joining La République du Cameroon, and they set conditions for that joining.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I got that very clear. It was actually the United Nations that saw the vote of 64 countries, 23 abstentions, and 23, 10 abstention and what, okay, I don't know. Anyway, the figures are there. All right, the figures are there, and we all know that on the 1st of October, our independence was granted. And now the games that went behind that independence is what we are talking about. Now, Barrister, I'll ask you the final and the last question for this segment because our time is going up. Remember, we are talking about history, and when talking about history, a number of things can be repeated, because some people are hearing now, some are hearing for the first time, some have heard it and heard it and heard it and heard it, and some will still hear. And we need to continue to talk until we know that people have heard when they take the right step. Because if somebody says, oh, I got you, and is doing the wrong thing, that person did not get you. And so I want to find out, recently we have heard some men, particularly I want to mention his name, like Monzo, in a pleasure discussion with Mimi Mifo, and he was still saying that he believes that how do you call it? That federalism will be the solution. I gave a big laugh. I said, why should some people become so? I don't call it naive. Why do they become so adamant in their dishonesty to the point that even at old age they are not ready to talk the truth? Because what did happen to the first federation before? We are not talking that if you go into the second experiment of a federation, things will change and become as they actually supposed to be to solve the problem. That is the question I want to Barrister. What do you think of this kind of a statement? Is that serious dishonesty, or is just saying it because something has passed under? Over to you.
Pastor Commando, I don't want to keep answering Mozo because he is deaf. He doesn't seem to hear. Let me tell you this. Professor Dr. Mozo is a scholar. He knows Resolution 1608. He knows everything about Resolution 1608. That joining, there was a condition in his paragraph 5 of that resolution which gave the process of the joining. It never took place, so there was no joining. Even before then, La République du Cameroon and the French and almost all the colonies except Mali voted against that resolution, and the intention was that they would not respect it, and they have not respected it. Their plan was to assimilate the Southern Cameroons. Dr. Mozu of all should know that. He knows it. But because he has a debt to pay to La République du Cameroon for what they have done to him, they savaged him when he was in the dungeon. They savaged him, gave him a job, proposed him a job in the United Nations where he made a living, and he is now living in retirement thanks to La République du Cameroon. He is still paying the debt. Let him admit to it. I'm not going to answer that question about federalism because we are long since gone. We are past that stage. He should know that the federalism was abolished by La République du Cameroon on their own against our interests in 1972, 20th of May. Why is Dr. Mozo still trying to take us? He wants us to remain in La République du Cameroon by all means possible. It's not going to work, doctor. I know you are a legal scholar. You know everything that I'm talking about. You know about Resolution 1608. So I'm not teaching you anything. You are a lawyer like myself. So we all know. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend to teach you anything. You know it. You know that paragraph 5 states out the conditions for the joining, which was never respected. You have eluded that part of Resolution 1608 because you don't want to be trapped legally. But you know it.
Yeah, Barrister.
And pretend to teach you anything.
Barrister, let's come back home. You just mentioned something that the French and French colonies in Africa did not vote for us to join La République, or they did not vote for us to have independence. Sorry, they did not vote for us to have independence. And then the United Nations said that the independence was by joining. We're going to have independence by joining La République. If La République itself did not vote for us to have that independence by joining them, why are they attaching us to them right now?
Look, Pastor Commando, that is not a topic for us to be discussing now. Let Mozo, who is one of the black legs of this revolution, let him continue in his mission in La République du Cameroon. He does not engage us, so let's not even discuss that. Are you there?
I can see your hand
Fellow Ambazonians, listeners of ABC Amba TV, we want to say thank you so much for today, for being with us and being with the barrister who has given us succinct answers to some of our questions, and above all, bringing to light the portions of history of Ambazonia that most of us have not actually been privileged to keep the line. Now, if we, Barrister, it appears you are frozen again. Our machines are off. Well, I thought Barrister was going to say the last word, but it appears Barrister is not there. Barrister is not there. Okay. As because he's not there, I think that will be that's that for today. I will look forward to having Barrister come to us again. Like I've seen in the studio, the Barrister is frozen. Barrister, you are frozen again, and we will call it quit. Our time is actually up, and we want to thank every one of you who has been with us for today. Very likely tomorrow, Friday the 15th, we shall be having one of our very close friends and brother, Dr. Lobati, coming up with our church and politics. We shall be talking on church and politics at the same time tomorrow. God bless the people of Ambazonia. See you tomorrow then. Bye.
Now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the below.